Today I'll be showing you people how to use style components in a React application. So what is style components? So let's Google it. Styled components. I can't type. So let's read the basic definition first. I don't want to show you the documentation of this. As you can see, style components lets you write actual CSS in your JavaScript. So that means CSS in JS. So that means style components can allow us to write CSS in JavaScript file. So to make this more interesting, I've planned to use an API. So I'll be hitting an API endpoint here. I was just surfing through Google and looking for public APIs to, demonstrate my video or the use of style components in React. So I found this cool API, api.coinranking.com. You don't have to have any what do we call that, API key, auth key. So you just hit this API and you will get the data. It's a public API. So my plan is to hit the API, get the data, use the data in the front end, and style the application in a very, very basic way using style components. So let's get started. Let's close this up. Let's get started. So for the editor purpose, I'll be using StackBlitz.com. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I think it's StackBlitz. So let's use StackBlitz, and I'll provide the URL in the description below so that you guys can visit this website and use it for your own sake. So it lets you write these boilerplate code for these frameworks. So I have to use it in React. So let's start a new app. Let's use a React with JavaScript. Okay, so let me see. This is the file structure. It looks like VS Code, yeah. But the only thing is that it shows you a live reload here. So it's live. For instance, I'll type great. Yeah, so it's live. So this is our file structure here. These are the dependencies used. As of now, it's using only React and React DOM, but we have to use something more here, obviously. So let's just install those dependencies that we're going to use in this video. First of all, the basic is style components. So we'll just install style components here. Just type in style components and hit enter. It's going to install the dependencies itself. Okay, so this is so we need this React -is library. I think this is required by style components to work perfectly. So I think we need to install the missing dependencies. It's going to install the dependencies. It's going to show a prompt that its installation is completed. So yeah, it's perfect. Style components has been installed. As I was planning to hit the API, so I think I need another library to make an HTTP request. So I'll install Axios because I like it personally. So let's hit Axios, and it's very efficient and good, and it's basically backstage. It's making use of promises for the API calls, and I really like it. So let's have Axios style components. Do we need anything else? No, I don't think so. We're done. So first of all, I'm going to convert this class-based component into a functional component just to make it a leaner and cleaner. So let's convert it like this. Let's test it out. Let's return a div, simple div with an hello. All right. So we've got the hello on screen. Now so what I'm planning to completely wrap or display, or we can say structure my application using style components, just to show you like what it's actually like to use style components in a React app. So I'm not gonna return any div, any h1 or any li or any ul tag. I'm just gonna return style components. The style components component. You can say it like that because style component, whatever you make through style components, it looks like a component to me, just like a React component. So let me show you practically what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna, first of all, I think I should have a proper file structure. So let's create a file. So I'm gonna wrap my entire application into a style component. So let's call it a wrapper.js. This is gonna import something from style components. So that is import styled from styled components. Style components, it's an S at the end. Styled components. So I'm gonna export something from here. So let's say export const wrapper. Export const wrapper equals to styled, the thing that I just imported from style components dot. So the catch comes here. So what do we write after this dot? We can write any HTML element. For instance, we have got divs, we've got ULs, we've got LIs, we've got sections, we've got mains, we've got a lot of tags in HTML. So the basic, I'm a div guy, I do everything in a div. I don't know if it's bad or good, but divs get my work done. So I'll just go with the div style.div, and the syntax is backticks. If you haven't heard about backticks, they're like just like in ES6 this feature was launched, template literals. It lets you write JavaScript inside them, or you can say a multi-line comment or anything. So backticks, and inside backticks we write traditional plain CSS, vanilla CSS. That's it. So let's try it out first. Let's do as this is the wrapper for the website, let's do a margin of 0. Let's do a box sizing of, so that it obeys all margins and parings. Box sizing of border box. Okay, let's do a padding of 0. What else do we need to do? Let's make it a display of flex, because I want this wrapper to obey flex box functionalities. Let's do a justify content of center, and let's just test it out first. Justify content center. Justify content is nothing, because display flex makes display the direction of the elements within a flex box is by default a row. So if it's a row, that means it's horizontal, this, and this is the vertical thing, this is the column, this is the row. So row is the main axis here. So justify content center means it's gonna obey, it's gonna place all the elements in the row into the center. I'll just show you practically, not verbally. So let's save this file here. Let's import this. Let's import something from a wrapper. All right. So wrapper. I've got the wrapper here. I'll delete this. I'll write my, not write. I'll wrap my entire application in the wrapper. Boom, it's done. Now let's type something in here. Let's say hey. So hey is in the center because this is the main axis, and justify content obeys this main axis, obeys justify content rules. If I'm gonna type flex end, because it's a flex box, I'm going to type flex end. This is going to take it to the end. If I'm gonna say flex start, it's gonna bring it to this beginning of this flex box, and if I'm gonna type center, which I had before, it's gonna bring it to the center. Let's save this. And what else do I need to do in here? Let me think. I need to give it a height of 100%. So I'll give a height of 100 VH. I'll show you something else. I was talking about the main axis and the cross axis. Main axis is the horizontal one and the cross axis is the vertical one. So I'll say align items, which is going to obey on the vertical axis. I'll say center. It's going to bring it into the center of the page like this. Okay, so right now I don't want this behavior, so I'll just delete it out. Okay, and I'll bring it to flex start. Okay, so I have it here. Okay, everything is fine in the wrapper. So let's get back, and I want to create something else here. I'll say let's just copy this thing and let's paste it here again. Let's make a backtick. Let's name it something else. Let's say we need a box, which is also a div. It's gonna have some other properties. It's not gonna have a margin, not a box sizing, not a padding as of now, but it's gonna have these two things. Let's say it's gonna have a display of flex. It's gonna have a justify content of center. I want everything to be centered in the box horizontally as well as vertically. So I'll center it vertically and horizontally both. And then what else do I want? I want a border. I want not a border. I want a border of 1 pixel solid, let's say black, and a border radius of, let's say, 5 pixels is fine. Let's make this 2 pixels and just that it's visible. Okay, so now I have got theoretically 2 components which are made in a javascript.js file, but I'm writing CSS, plain vanilla CSS inside a JavaScript file. So one claim made by style components is clear, that you are able to write CSS in JavaScript. So let's go into our main file and let's import box, because this wrapper file is exporting 2 things, wrapper and a box. So let's import the box here and let us do this to test it out. Let's make a box here. Okay, so I've got a box, but why is it taking a height, full height of this style.div, center, line item, center, border radius. Let's give it a height of, let's say, 20 pixels. Okay, let's give it a width also, just to show you guys that there is a box in there. Okay, we have got a box here. All right, so I'll take away the width. It's gonna be a variable width according to the content. It's gonna adjust the width automatically. So let's write something in here. Let's say Bassett, that's my name. All right, I'll just give it a little bit of padding. Let's say 1%. Okay, now it's looking a little nice. I'm not focusing on styling right now. I just want to show you guys that what style components can do. So now what's my next goal? My next goal is to call an API. Okay, so let's create a separate file for that, api.js. In this file I'm going to import Axios from Axios. Okay, I hope everybody knows about it. like everybody knows about Axios. So let's export a function, export const get data. Get data is nothing but a fancy name to get a data from the API. So I'm exporting this function so that I can use it in my index.js file. So I'll show you what I'm going to do. I'll just declare a variable called URL, and let's copy this URL. Basically this thing is a public API. I think I mentioned it earlier. Yeah, so it's a public API, anybody can access it. Now let's call this, let's hit the endpoint with a get request, and let's mention in the URL. To make this thing more informative and exciting and short, I don't like chaining the then and the catch callback with this thing right here. I don't like it. So let's make it an async function. Async function. I hope you guys know about async await, and let us make this more interesting. Let's first test it. Let's say const data equals to this axios.get URL. So it's gonna make a get request to the URL provided above. It's gonna await for the result and assign it to data, and then I'll just console it out, log it out. I'll say data. Okay, fine. So we've got this API function ready. Now let's import it here. I'll say import something from ./API file, and that something is the function that I just exported there. That's get data. Alright, so now I need to check it out. So I'll use React hooks for that. I'll import two things. I'll say use effect and use state. Okay, first of all I'm going to make use of use effect. It's gonna take a function and a second parameter. The second param is all those dependencies, the outer dependencies on which you want this index.js file to re-render. So we don't have anything as of now, so we'll keep it empty, because passing in an empty array as a second argument to the use effect makes it run only once. So it's not going to run on every re-render, on every update. So let's just test it out to see if it's working. Console.log use. Alright, let's log it out. Okay, it's working. It's working fine. This is a console. This website is also providing us a console to test our stuff. I always use console log statements to test my execution, my flow. So what I want to do is I want to call the get data. Simply call the get data and see the behavior. Get data. Get that is not defined. What does that mean? Do I have any typo? Did I misspell it? Okay, what was that? Okay, fine. I got it. I think there was a network glitch. I think it was hanging. Alright, so I got the data here. There is data and there is coins. So what I'm going to do is, to make it more cleaner, I'm going to do object destructuring here. So see, object destructuring works like this. You have an object and you want to extract some keys out of it. So the keys that you want to destructure from this object has to be this name. The name has to be the same. So if you've got any doubts in object destructuring, you just Google it out and you'll get to know. But it's really simple. The syntax is like this. I open it up, I'll type data and I save it. See, I got a filtered thing. I got just the data. So in this data I want to extract this data. So let's say I wanted to extract status. I would have said data, I want something out of it, so I would have said status. Sorry, I misspelled it. Status. So I'll get the status out of it and I'll log it out. Status. I got success because the success was equal to status. But I don't want that status, I want data here. I want data. I'll print out the data here. So I got data. Alright. So in data I've got stats, I've got something called base, and I've got something called coins. I'm interested in coins because coins is an array of 50 objects, which basically are 50 coins. So I'll be extracting out coins out of it. So coins, and I'll just print it out. I think I'm doing it correct. Yeah, so I've got 50 objects here. So now I'll just space it out so that it's clearly visible that what I did. The first object that I got as a response from the API had this data thing. I destructured that from the object. It made it clearer. It just pulled it out, the data key, and in data I had another key called data. I pulled that data key out of this data, and from this data I pulled out coins. These key names have to be same as the response key names that we got from the API, and I just logged it out. And now I'll just return these coins. Return coins. So now I've got the API function ready. I'll go to my index.js file. Let's say I'll just attach a then callback. I got the response here. I'll just log it out. I'll just log out the response. I'll say here. Yeah, so I've got the response. Alright, so now what next? I'll define a state which will hold my coins here, because I need to map those coins in the front end side. So I'll say I need to manipulate these coins also, so I'll say set coins. If you guys don't know about using React hooks or how to use use state or use effect, you can just Google it out, go to the official React documentation and see. I'm sure it's gonna take you like 10 minutes to understand what this is. This is really easy. The coins is just a state variable which is gonna hold some state for me. The set coins is the set state of the class based component. This is gonna help me set the coins, manipulate it, overwrite it, mutate it. I can only mutate these coins using set state, and use state is gonna take up an argument. I'll pass in an empty array. This means this empty array is equal to the coins. That means coins is an empty array as of now, and set coins is used to do operations on this array. For example, if I need to push anything, if I need to change this array into something, I'll just have to pass in something to the set coins function, and it's gonna mutate the coins state. That's it. It's just a functional way of using component date mount, state, set state, this and that, whatever the stuff was there in class-based React. But this is lightweight, and this is clean. Like, this is clean. That's why I use it. So coins is initially going to be an empty array. Now let us set it up. Let's set the coins to the response that we are getting. So set coins, and I'm getting an array as a response, array of 50 coins. This is an empty array, so I just have to reassign the value to coins. I can only reassign the value to coins by using set coins. So I'll say response, and I'm done. The set coins will take the response from the API that is coming from the api.js file, the coins array, and it will set it equal to coins here. Now I'll show you practically what do we have in these coins. So I'll console.log, I'll say coins state coins, and I'll say coins. Okay, so I've got these coins in the state coins. This is coming as an empty at first because the Ajax call is taking, I think, 1 or 2 seconds to complete. That's why it's logging it as a default state. If I'm gonna go here and say 0, it's gonna return me a state 0 first. Alright, so let's set it as an empty array. Let's save our file, and now the catchy part comes here. Now we want to do something with this box. Let's map this array. This array needs to be mapped, so I'll say coins dot map. The map function takes in callback. I'll say for each coin and coin ID, I want you to return something for me. What do I want you to return? I want you to return a box, which is a styled component box. Let's say, okay, I'm already getting, I don't know, but why is it like this? Or I need to do some CSS changes in wrapper. Okay, and display flex. Okay, I need to wrap it up, so I'll say flex wrap equals to wrap. Alright, so it's wrapped. Depending upon the data size, these boxes are gonna adjust its width. So in the box I want to return something. What do I want to return? Let's inline this in one line. Let's just keep it like this. Alright, so in here, first of all, I want to log out coin.name. Okay, so these are the coins that I'm getting back, and let's log out something else. What else do we have here? We have got the name that we are logging. The name is here, Bitcoin. If I'm gonna log the symbol, sorry, let me log the symbol, so we'll get those coded names. Let's say symbol BTC ETH, whatever it is. So I'm fine with the name, it's more descriptive. And let's say we want what else do we want? We want a price, right? That's what a user sees, price. I'm just making it more exciting, that's it. I'm just consuming an API so that it looks like a real thing according to me. So let's do a hyphen here, and let's do coin dot price. Alright, so it's looking really ugly. I'm not focusing on styles, but let's just go into the wrapper.js file box. Let's give it a padding of 1% is fine. Let's just give it a margin of 1% so that they're a bit separated. Okay, fine, now it's looking fine. It's looking good now, a little better than before. Now let's the price is looking really ugly. Let's just round it off to 2 decimal places. So this is a float. Okay, this is a string. The price is a string, right? Oh, the price is a string, so I need to parse it. So I need to so this syntax, right? The curly braces inside the component. You can write JavaScript in here. So I can say parse float. I'll pass in the price of the coin, and then I'll say dot, because toFixed only runs on numbers, so I'll say toFixed 2. Alright, now it's looking a little better, a little better. Okay, let's remove these white spaces here. It's looking bad. And let's prepend a dollar here, a dollar sign. Should we give it a space? No, it's looking bad. It's looking good without the space. All right, so now we have the, what do we call this, consumed API. We just consumed an API. Okay, so let's style it a little bit according to just basic style components. Or we can say this, let's give it a font is not looking good. I don't remember. I usually use Google Fonts, but I think there is a font called Consolas. Yeah, it's looking good. Consolas. Okay. So now let's give it a background color of black. I really love black. Okay. Now it's like black boxes, and let's give it a color of white. Okay, it's looking good. Color white. I wanted to know how to give a hover effect. I think it's like this, and colon hover. Let's do a background color of white. Yeah, white, and a color of black. Let's see if it's working. Yeah, it's working. So you can write the hover styles in JS. Just imagine the power of style components, man. It's really good. So now we're consuming an API, a cryptocurrency API. That's a public API. Everybody can use it. We have a hover effect on these without even writing a single line of CSS in a CSS file. But yeah, we write CSS in this. Let's just get rid of this thing. Let's make it a bit neat. Yeah, so we just consumed a API using style components with a nice hover effect. So guys, I think this is it for this video. I've shown the basic use of style components in a React application with consuming an API. I also covered object destructuring in here, some CSS styles, creating an API using Axios, and some promises also. And I've also got no, I'm gonna add